And Pato, I'm going to mute. Yeah, we're going to mute everybody for just a moment. There we go.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas. It's wonderful to see a lot of our favorite people in the room tonight. And a few years ago, when we were first starting our shows, I was introduced to Pato and Antoinette. And every year, we celebrate Martin Luther King birthday together. And it's that time again. And since that time, I've had the good fortune to really get to know these two beautiful souls. And anytime they are on the show, it's a very, very special time indeed. Of course, I've been to many of their concerts. We all love Pato and Antoinette. So they are with us this evening. I'll turn it over to them in a moment. We also have John and Summer Raymer, and I think they are who first introduced me to Pato and Antoinette. Summer is going to lead a dance, and John's got some really exciting news to share. So it's going to be a wonderful show. I want to welcome everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. A big thanks to John and Summer for every show, getting us out via the Sign Network to all of you. And as we love to start our shows with our beloved brother, my co-host and my partner, here is Omar Shar.
So welcome everybody from a very snowy Colorado. And this opening song is called Out of the Blue, and it's a short metaphysical pop song, and it's a dance song, so get up already. And basically it's about our ancestors like Martin Luther King and of course Muhammad Ali, etc. and what happened to them? Did they just vanish, or are they actually reaching their hands back out of the blue into the now? And so without further ado, here we go. Whatever happened to the ones that came before? Did they just vanish into the blue? Maybe they're living the dream we know to be true, and reaching their hands back out of the blue. Heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. There's nothing here to hold me back from you. The clouds of my life have blown away. My lightness of being lifts me every day. I find myself feeling not so blue. My heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. Ba-da-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Woohoo! Let's all twinkle, Omashar, and what a perfect song and theme for tonight's opening. That's just absolutely perfect. Thank you, Omashar, and of course he'll be back. I want to read just a couple of quick comments because I did ask people to share about MLK, and then I'm going to go straight to Pato and Antoinette. Susan Bloomquist writes, Martin Luther King is a personal hero of mine. The way he kept his people together and trained them in nonviolence showed me that the only way to stand up to violence is with peace. Carol Craig writes, MLK has made a huge impact on me throughout my entire life. Equal rights and nonviolent protest with justice and peace. That's the world I'm hoping for. So people, please continue to share your thoughts about MLK and about Muhammad Ali. And DR writes, MLK gives us all permission to dream for peace for all. Well, two of the people, actually, all four of our guests are people that have dedicated their lives to creating peace and living up to the ideals of Martin Luther King. And so it's my honor to bring up our beloved friends, Pato and Antoinette. Welcome back to the Awakening World, you two beautiful beings.
Greetings, everyone. Hi, Pato.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for having us again. It's nice to be here with everyone.
Oh, and it's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to getting the update on all that you guys are doing with the spirit of Ubuntu.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to turn it over to you to work your magic.
All right.
Well, I just want to say it's so good to see the Global Peace Tribe, the Awakening World. I love you guys. You guys are like my favorite audience when it comes to that's one of the reasons why I really love coming on to Scott's program and stuff, because I've never felt so much love and compassion from such an amazing group. So tonight we're going to be talking about Martin Luther King Day. We're going to be talking about some of the events that are happening this weekend, as in person and also on Zoom, as well as like the latest updates regarding Ubuntu. So this is going to be very exciting tonight, because finally you guys will all have a chance and an opportunity to be able to watch this documentary that you've seen us talk about for the last couple of years. You know, Sunday's a big day. But before we get over to there, since it is Martin Luther King weekend, Pato, is there anything you want to say before we even start to get into the videos? I mean, The whole reason, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and
Go on,
ask.
go on, go on, go on,
All right,
go
I
on.
just get all excited because number one, it's like I've been on Scott's show for a while. That's when I really first started Stand Up for Justice. And when I started that organization, it was based off of MLK. You know, it's all in my about statement, it's all in the mission, you know, the way that he worked for nonviolence, the way he worked for justice and for peace and everything else. It was like that was the foundation of how we were going to actually build this organization, was based off of the philosophy and the teachings and the principles of Martin Luther King. So with that, you know, I was like, I've been able to like continue to learn how he was able to like continue with the civil rights movement. But we realize even in today's day, it is 2025. We are still in the civil rights movement. That movement did not end back in the 60s. It started in the 60s. So when he talked about building beloved community, you know, so we're going to show you that one. It's going to really kind of make you think about, wait a minute, that's today. He was talking about the future, but what he was saying back then about the future is where we are today and how we need to come together really today and start implementing the things that he actually spoke about. That's the reason why like Martin Luther King's dream will always continue to live on, because we're not there yet. We didn't reach the promised land, but I can see it in the horizon, even if it's not even in my own lifetime. When his dream that he was talking about, I realized that we all have an obligation and a duty to sit there and, you know, get this party started. Let's get going, you know, with like what he was talking about, you know. So we're going to continue to honor his legacy, even though like half of the stuff that he talks about is now banned in half of the country. That is not going to stop us from getting Dr. King's message out there to the world. Are you with me? All right, Pato, go ahead. All right, I see everybody. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Well, I just want to second that. You know, we've been traveling around the world a lot. We've seen so much things going on, you know, and the media only presents what's negative in the world. But when you travel in the world and you meet the real people and you meet the people who are actually out there doing something to make the world a better place, all of our partner organizations, all of our friends, all of our spiritual community, it gives us hope. And we know that, you know, there's a lot more positive in the world than there is negative in the world. You know, I'm sure the news stations are struggling to keep it negative, but you know, we don't have to struggle to keep it positive. So, you know, and especially now during this time of MLK, where everybody's focused on his message, you know, the values that he upheld, and looking forward to 40 days of service, you know, during this MLK season. We're all looking for different ways that we can partner together, ways that we can serve each other, ways that we can help each other. You know, there's quite a bit of desperation going on now, especially with all the fires around us in Southern California and at the Mexican border. There's still so much struggling going on down there. So we've got our hands filled, you know, trying to reach out and help people. And also with our help in Africa that we're providing for the disadvantaged across Africa, our hands are filled with opportunities of service. And as you know, when you do something for other people, no matter what you're going through, you know, that has to take a back burner. When you're serving other people, it gives you joy to see other people happy. So, you know, I'm very positive about, you know, what's going on in the world and, you know, and this season right now.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things so a couple questions before we show this next video. So Jerry was asking how, you know, since I'm muted, because I'm sitting right next to Pato and I talk loud enough that everybody can hear me. So that's one thing. And then number two, George, MLK was another Capricorn too, a divine director, to use twin ray language for Capricorn energy that lasted January 19th. Well, hello, I was born on January 1st, you know, so I'm also a Capricorn. Capricorn energy, we are gonna rock this year. It's the year of the snake going into Chinese New Year. So yes, Capricorn, we're, you know, booyah.
I'm a Capricorn also, my dear.
You
Christmas
see what
Day.
I'm saying? I'm telling you, we rock. Capricorns rule, you know, we rule. Yeah, I'm
Well, you
sorry
know,
for the rest of y'all, but we rule.
well, you know, Saturn is our ruling planet. And now that Saturn has moved into Aquarius, it brings us into our the Aquarian age, and so that's what we were born for. So I'll turn it back to you, but I had to jump in on.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, so also when we're talking about relief efforts, this MLK Day, is since we always do our annual drive for refugee relief, is also dedicated to the Altadena relief, here in California. You guys know all about the fires. Who hasn't heard about the fires? We all know about the fires. So it's like we're getting busy, we're getting ourselves organized, we're getting ourselves situated. We're taking our donations strictly to the fire victims. And anybody who makes any donations to our MLK event, that goes towards the fire victims as well too, because there's a lot of people in need. Not everybody's got insurance. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot. But what we can do is a lot of us that come together with the spirit of Ubuntu, we can help a lot of people in a meaningful way, with the little bit that we can sit there and contribute and support, so that's going to be on the agenda. All right, Pato.
All right, so we're going to start with the MLK video.
Yeah. So
All
this,
right.
this is so that way we can get everybody into the
Yes,
MLK
and
vibe
get
energy.
everybody get dancing, get moving. All right, we're ready. Let me share this sound. All right, and there's the video. And let's press play. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
All right, here we go. Yeah. This one is dedicated to the King, Martin Luther King, our civil rights champion. Understand me, no man. And this one is dedicated to all the people all over the world, to every man and woman, every boy and girl, to everyone who believes that equal rights and justice should apply to all, regardless of our color, class, or creed. This one's for Martin Luther King, our frontline soldier, Martin Luther King, our peaceful warrior, Martin Luther King, our civil rights leader, Martin Luther King. This one's for him. Well, just like MLK, I have a dream today. And like Bob Marley, I got so much things to say. Hey, wanna talk about empathy, equity and equality. Wanna talk about ending war and how to end poverty, how to end racial hate and police brutality. Cause where there's no justice, oh Jah, there can be no peace. Seems like humanity is in a state of emergency. We need more ethical leaders with a sense of integrity, like Martin Luther King, our frontline soldier, Martin Luther King, our peaceful warrior, Martin Luther King, our civil rights leader, Martin Luther King. This one's for him. You see, there are so many problems, and we need some solutions. Yes, let's get together now and start a love revolution. And we can't stop, no, we can't slow up. We gotta keep pressing on. If you can't run, then walk. Can't walk, then it's time to crawl. He said, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Darkness can't drive out darkness. Only light can do that, he said. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too much to bear. He said, you can kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream. We see unconditional love will rule in eternity. He said, the time is always ripe to do what is right. Lord, I hear the voice of Jesus say, don't give up the fight. He said, where do we go from here? Hey, as a community, my people, instead of fighting each other, show some unity. He said, we fight injustice with civil disobedience. So speak up, don't be silent, and always remain non-violent. Yeah, let's work it out, don't fight it out. Come on, everybody, let me hear you sing it. Let's work it out, don't fight it out. This one is for the king. Let's work it out, don't fight it out. Come on, everybody, one more time. Let's work it out, don't fight it out. Yeah. This one's for Martin. Martin Luther King. Our frontline soldier, Martin. Martin Luther King. Our peaceful warrior, Martin. Martin Luther King. Our civil rights leader, Martin. Martin Luther King. This one's for him. This one's for Martin. Martin Luther King. Our frontline soldier, Martin. Martin Luther King. Our peaceful warrior, Martin. Martin Luther King. Our civil rights leader, Martin. Martin Luther King. This one's for him.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
All right.
If you have chills or tears, make a reaction. You know, like I know that I've seen this one so many times, and I still have a combination of chills and tears. And our beloved monk from the Mystic Monastery, Jerry Anderson, writes, I start every day for a month with this video. So, Pato, it's just so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a labor of love. We have to really say thank you to John Raymer as well for inspiring us to write the song. You know, and definitely Summer Joy inspired the tempo. We wanted it to make it dancey. You know, and then John said, you know, let's put in that part, let's work it out, don't fight it out, you know.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know, Pato, while Summer was sitting here, she said, oh my God, this is the song I should be dancing to on the 20th at MLK, right there on the plaque on the Lincoln Memorial. That's what she's doing.
Okay, so Pato, I just have to ask Ann Antoinette permission for me to share that song. 81 days in a row I've been dancing with Lynn and Lee, who are in the Zoom room. And it would be my honor if I could, with both of your permission, have that song beaming through my Zoom room and out about on MLK Day. Can I do that?
Yes, you can.
All right.
Yes, you can.
So I just want you to know it's happening at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time on January 20th. All y'all that can hear this are invited to come into the Zoom room And I will like, because that part of the speech, that's what's so like emotional to me too. It's like to stand the first time I ever went to DC, I looked down and I said, "Oh my God, John, there is a plaque right here on the Lincoln Memorial. It's right here where Dr. Martin Luther King shared that speech."
Hmm.
And John's one of his closest friends, it was Tom Williams
made that happen.
in Louisville, Kentucky, that made that plaque happen. But anyways,
He went there with his kids and it wasn't there. He said there needs to be a plaque here. And he took it on himself and lobbied his congressman.
and
Then
he did
Coretta
it.
Scott King, we played from the cable TVs of the day that was put there. So it's all kind of falling
So-
into place.
Go and touch the spot. Go and get that good juju, as Chelsea would say. Go and touch it and get that good juju from there.
I will.
Summer, put that in the chat box and let's say it again slowly for people watching on Facebook, which is the majority of people watching are watching the recording or on Facebook. So give us slowly the date and the time and how people can tune in.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
the thing people got to know is MLK's Day of Service. So today's his birthday, right? But
Yep.
there is the 30th anniversary of MLK, which is a day of service. It's always the third Monday of January.
Mhm.
Well, this year, the third Monday of January is January 20th, the day of the inauguration.
Yes.
What a juxtaposition. And so we're going to be at the inaugural there in front of the Lincoln Memorial at 11:11. Summer will be dancing to that song.
Yeah.
And we're there to play a compassion game we're calling the Great Togetherness Challenge, asking people there, what can we do together to make America greater than it's ever been? And Summer had the brilliant idea of bringing 40 hand warmers, pairs of hands, to break the ice with folks. And we're going to capture what they say and put it in recordings, and we'll be going live from there during the inaugural. But it starts with that dance at 11:11 Eastern Time, front of the Lincoln Memorial, on that spot with that song.
Yeah. So I put one link because I know this is always a thing. So this one link that I shared takes you to all the events that are happening right now, including Pato and Antoinette's events that they are sharing about. So if you scroll onto January 20th, wait, where is it?
Yeah, but let me read this slowly to anybody who's watching on Facebook and YouTube or watching the recording. So go to oneworld.earth. And if you haven't registered and joined oneworld.earth, that's where so many of us come together. I mean, there's all these amazing events going on, and we're going to reference that website a lot. So the key is to register and join. It's free of charge. Join oneworld.earth. It's a mining network. And then if you go to /spaces, and really if you just join and you click out events, you'll find this. But I just want to make it easy for people to find. There's the show that we're doing right now. Here's what's happening tomorrow at 7:00 in the morning, which I guess now that we're into it, we might as well do it now. So tell people about tomorrow morning. I'm going to click on that. So go ahead and tell us about what's happening tomorrow morning at 7:00 Pacific time. I've got it on my calendar, so I hope to be there. But tell our audience what's happening since we're on that right now.
Yeah, no, it's remarkable. The reason the MLK Ali combination is because Muhammad Ali was a great humanitarian. He would say that measure of greatness is not how many people you knock down, but how many people you lift up. And for him, the whole idea that service to others is the rent you pay for your place here on earth. On today's Today Show was Ali's wife, Lani Ali, and they're launching the Compassion Index. And the Compassion Games has been a partner with them ever since we started the Compassion Games with Louisville, Kentucky. So they're here. We're in New York at the Idealist headquarters tomorrow. We're having this press conference and a Compassion Summit, followed by a session that we're doing with Chief Perry and the gang here, preparing for this Central Park powwow that's going to be happening on the summer solstice in the Great Lawn. I mean, it's a remarkable confluence of events. But tomorrow there's a press conference from the Idealist headquarters. that's going to announce the Compassion Index. If you go, I know the advanced link, Ali Index, ALI index.org. You'll see they're promoting the Compassion Games and they're promoting. Now, cities, it turns out they did a survey of the 12 most compassionate cities in America.
Drum roll.
Number one city, oh my God, back to the origin, is Seattle. Number two is Louisville. So it's kind of like, oh my God, you kidding me? It's so perfect.
But there's still chance for these
You
cities
can
to
make-
become number
that's
one.
right. And we're giving out the
Game on.
Inspiring Action Award this year. So all of us are playing in the games. You can't lose the Compassion Games. And there's so many creative ways to engage not only yourself with your own self-compassion, but those that you know, strangers in your community, all of life, future generation systems. The games is really on fire right now. We'd love you guys to play and then come back and report on what you did so we can summarize that for everybody to see.
Okay,
Yeah.
so going back to oneworld.earth, the Muhammad Ali press conference tomorrow at 7 a.m. And then you're going to follow right up with the Compassion Games Play Shop. So there's the Compassion Games Play Shop. And what actually happens at that time?
Well, it's set up to answer anyone's questions. We help people formulate their game plan for how they're going to participate in the games. So there's the secret agent of compassion. Every week there's going to be missions coming out. So there's lots of creative ways. There's a compassion playbook that's been put together. So the Play Shop is there as a support for you. If you're interested in playing and you've got questions, you're interested in organizing a team, you're putting forward a way to play, Becky and Ingrid, Summer and I will host those play shops. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be Becky because we're going to be at the Idealist headquarters. But they're
Yeah,
set
but
up
she's
to
she's
support-
an amazing coach.
Oh.
And so is Ingrid, and it's a collaborative force of nature, soul force, as Dr. Martin Luther King would say. And I just put one more link. I know we try not to be super raining links, but there's one more there that is a great starting point. If you sign up to play, you'll receive kind of next steps, how to report, and like all these contests that are going on. And yeah, so
Right.
there you go.
There you
Inspire
go.
others to channel their
Just bringing
empathy
it up. Yeah, this is where you
into
sign up.
actionable service.
Mhm.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody. Let's play our hearts out now more than ever.
And honestly, Pato and Antoinette are incredible, and their events are woven through. You will see the Ubuntu watch party and the event that they're doing in San Diego. I mean, it's all there. Everybody's stuff is there.
We the World, Charter for Compassion, and we
Mhm.
want to acknowledge AmeriCorps. So let's just make that clear.
Thank you, AmeriCorps.
They've given
Yes.
us the resources by which we could share
Mhm.
to support the work of like Stand Up for Justice
Yes.
and Antoinette's work and all the things we're doing.
Awesome.
All of us.
So Summer, do you want to do your dance now? And then we'll or do you want to wait a little bit and come back?
I'm like, is it the right moment? I don't know. I feel like Pato and Antoinette have something to say and share, and then maybe.
Okay, sounds good.
I've got something I want to say.
Okay, great.
Give me some dancing, girl.
Oh, you know it. I'm right
Yeah,
there.
come on, girl. Woo-hoo!
You know her.
Oh, okay. So y'all, just so you know, we were just recently with Pato and Antoinette in Japan, and every time
yeah.
they're on the stage, they know it. I am right in the front and I'm right in the middle and I'm following every move. My favorite dance move is something that Pato does where I can't quite do it quite right, but so yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Pato and Antoinette, I was going to do this other song, but if you have a song that you want to like sing or play in this particular moment, I want to invite us to play together, if you want. Or I have another song lined up, but I just feel you're here. Like, can we do something with you?
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we could actually. Actually,
I'd love to play with you.
I remember earlier you mentioned
Yeah.
New Day Dawning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what's so funny? Because do you remember when we was in Haifa? So we were in Israel, Jordan,
Yeah.
and Palestine.
Yes,
And
we
the
were
day
together.
before the concert, the nukes were flying over. There's like the missiles. There's like, and we weren't sure which side it was coming from, but there was just missiles going all over. But when we did the concert in Haifa, because that was the Unity Earth video that you put inside of there. But when we taught them, because I said, listen, this caravan of unity, I was like, we're gonna do it like the YMCA. And I was like, you and then N and everything else. And then she's all up in there, T and everything else like that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that was right by the Wailing Wall. We were by the Wailing Wall, right? When we did that? You and
yeah,
I.
and in Haifa, it was like, yo, we're trying to bring joy. We're trying to bring dancing. We're trying to bring peace, love, and unity around the world. And it's like, and of course we was getting busted for like moving and being all lovey-dovey and things like that around there. But hey, it's
They're
what
like, who are these people?
I know, they're all touching each other and dancing and loving each other and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, we're not telling y'all what to do. We're just trying to show you what the example of peace, love, and unity actually looks like. You know, when you bring people together, all kinds of different people who don't have anything like in common other than we all love each other. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
So,
Papa.
you know, could we just like right here, right now, do
Day
things?
dawning.
I'm ready to stand up.
Yeah,
Right.
I've
Let's
got the
get
I've got the radio edit ready, the remix ready.
All right, let's
All
find
right.
out
Right now.
sound.
Let's do
So
it.
I do I need to share it?
Optimize sound. Yes, hold on. Let me
Let's
make
share
sure
it
you
down. And by the way, did you notice what shirt I'm wearing? This is from Mount
make
Fuji.
peace prevail on earth. Yep, I've got the handkerchief.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So everybody get up.
No,
Right.
stop. No, you have to, Pato, you have to put original sound for musicians on.
All right, original sound.
So if you bring your cursor up to the right-hand side, a little bar should appear.
All right, hold on. Of myself?
Yes. A little bar should appear.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got it under three dots by myself.
No. In that case, you need to go to Zoom settings, brother.
All
Send
right.
it to me.
All right, I'm in Zoom settings now.
And then go to audio,
I'm in audio.
go down and click on original sound for musicians.
All right, let me
And then
see.
below that, high fidelity sound.
Hold on.
There it is, original sound. I see it right
Original
there.
sound for musicians.
And
Go
Wow.
down and click high fidelity
Stereo-
music.
Stereo
And below
audio.
that, stereo.
Stereo audio.
High fidelity.
All right.
And then stereo. Now go back to your front screen.
And stereo. You said and
And
stereo.
You want stereo audio?
Yep.
Yep. Go back to your front
All
screen
right, there it
and
is on the
then
top.
raise your cursor and it'll say original sound for musicians and click that on.
Dude, you're such a techie.
So
Should I put on live performance audio or just?
no, don't do that. Leave that.
All
Don't
right.
do-
So
So go
just,
back to your front screen and
Yeah.
lift your cursor up to the right hand side and
Yeah.
a little bar will come up and you got to click that now. It'll
It's
say
on. Yeah.
good.
original sound for musicians on.
Yep.
Now go for it, brother.
And
All
let's
right, so
hear
I don't need to share my screen.
Nope.
No, just press the sound. It should be all right.
Oh,
Share-
Michelle, you are the man.
Well, we'll see.
Hold on, here we go.
Turn it up.
Here we go. Can you hear that?
Yep. Oh, fuck.
We're not hearing it now.
You muted, Pato. I just
Sorry. All right, here we go. Is that better?
Yes. And thank you, Summer, for dancing while we were.
oh shit.
Go, Summer.
You may think this is hysterical, that I believe in miracles. Yes, I believe in things my eyes have never seen. Oh, it's a new day dawning, and I can hear the angels calling. Oh, yes, it is a new day dawning. It's gotta be universal love. Oh, yes, there day dawning, new day, angels calling. Oh yes, there is a new day dawning. It's gotta be universal love. I heard that faith can move mountains, yeah, and all you've got to do is believe. Heard a rumor I'm a dreamer, but in this world you've got to
Go, Connie.
How will we cope without hope? How will we fly if we don't try? How will we learn if we won't learn for understanding? Hey, I gotta know, hey, I believe there is a new day dawning, and I can hear the angels calling. Oh yes, there is a new day dawning. It's gotta be universal. Time to get ready for the new day dawning. New day, angels calling. There is a new day dawning. It's gotta be universal. Gotta be. Blow the songs, man. New day, everybody ball. If you parade, new day, everybody ball. New day, everybody ball. If you parade, new day, everybody ball. Know that the spiritual climate is a warming. Showers of blessing just keep on falling. I hear the archangels them calling. Yo, this is not the time to be stalling. Stop the yawning and you performing. Listen the warning, new day is dawning. A message from the bright and morning star to the people them near and far. Follow me again, new day dawning, and I can hear the angels calling. Oh yes, this is a new day dawning. It's gotta be universal love, sweet love. New day dawning, and I can hear the angels calling. Oh yes, this is a new day dawning. It's gotta be universal love. Come on, come on, come on. New day dawning, new day. Angels calling. Hallelujah. New day dawning. It's gotta be, gotta be, gotta be.
So I just want everybody, along with Pato's voice, I want you to feel the angels calling.
Uh-huh.
Let's do this for the city of angels, for LA. Let's send this love to LA, to every single person that has lost a home, who lost a business, lost their streets, their neighbor, you know, let's send that. Imagine all of our angel wings. Just send it all to LA. Pato and Jeanette, they lost power and they're still here.
Came back on.
Anybody that has lost anything in California this week, let's send our love and our care and actions. Call someone in LA. Send love. Something for Dr. Martin Luther King. It's about service. Let's serve each other. That's why we are here, is to help each other.
Amen.
Thank you very much for that, Summer.
Thank you, Summer.
Thank you, Summer.
A little bit later on in the show, actually, we're going to show a video of a dear friend of ours. I don't know, Pato and Antoinette, John and Summer, if you know Sandra DeCastro Buffington, she's an evolutionary leader, and her home in Pacific Palisades burned down. We've started a GoFundMe for her, and I recorded a little video with her, which, actually, this might be a really good time to play that since you just led the prayer. And so here's a short video. Whoops. We want to record turn that. Here's a short video with Sandra, and let's give her maximum grace, sending love as you listen to her, and I'll put her GoFundMe into the chat box. I'm really honored to be with Sandra right now. And Sandra, thank you for coming onto the Awakening World in this particular really tender moment of your life. And I'd love to just ask you to share anything you'd like to share with our audience.
Thank you, Scott. It's so good to be here and to be with you. And I lived in Pacific Palisades, and 2 days ago, I'm sure most of you are aware, we had enormous fires that are still raging today. And my home was burned to the ground. All my belongings were there. And I was very lucky to get out of the community. A lot of people didn't. Some people left their cars on the side of the road and had to run down to the beach to survive. And so I find myself at this moment of, life as I knew it is gone. The land is gone. I was very connected to the land, to the hills, and to the ocean. I used to walk every single day. I know every rut in the ground. My home that I had for 16 years, which was on a cliff over the ocean, is disappeared overnight. And, I don't have a place to live. I'm staying at a friend's apartment. It is just a moment of complete and utter surrender. And I also know that even though life as I knew it is gone, then I'm still here. It's like a miracle. I still have my heart. I still have my love, my sense of humor, my wits, my soul is alive. All the memories are carried within, even though all the symbols of those memories have gone. And my community and friendships and connections are still alive. And it's just an incredible life lesson. One more thing I'll share, Scott, is that 9 months ago, I lost my son. I didn't think I could survive that. My beloved son. He's my first child. I have a daughter as well. And I'm still here. So I also have this sadness in my heart, which I'll carry for the rest of my life. That's there too. So I don't know what else to tell you. It's just so humbling to surrender everything and not have a plan and not know where it's going to go. And, just to be here with you in this moment.
Thank you. It's important for us to assign a face of someone who's a member of our community. You've been on the shows, we've done shows together before. And to hear your story and all of a sudden take those headlines that we're reading and personalize it. And of course, it's also very important now for us all to provide support. We've been starting every show and ending every show with prayer. But in addition to prayer, it's really important to provide green energy and to help you rebuild your life. I'll be putting the link into the chat box for the GoFundMe. Of course, I'm going to donate and ask all of our friends to donate. And so right now, sending maximum grace to you, Sandra. Maximum grace.
And I receive that with my heart open. And Scott, I want to thank you again for reaching out to me even before my place burned. When you knew the fires were breaking out, you sent me a message, and you kept sending me a message every day. And I felt the strength and protection that you emanate. And somehow I was able to receive that, and I felt like I wasn't alone. I felt like you were tuned into me, that I was on your radar. You weren't going to let me slip away. And I got to tell you, sometimes it is the smallest gestures that really shift an experience. It let me know that I was plugged into our community through you, that you have a grounding and a presence and, a lot of big network that would hold me. And you have, and you are. And I'm so grateful. And I want to send so much love to everyone. Everyone has a difficulty right now. That's part of this life, the light and the dark, this dance that we live. And so I want to send so much love and gratitude, and to say, you are a beautiful soul, and I see you and value you. And I'm grateful to be connected to you. So thank you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Sandra. We're going to stay in very, very, very close touch. Absolutely. Again, that message is to all of you. You're all beautiful souls. And everybody's going through their challenges in their ways. So anyway, thank you, Summer. Actually, it was when you talked about, call somebody in LA, reach out to somebody. I remembered what Sandra had said about why that's important to her. And so, everybody, anybody that's struggling, whether it's somebody in Los Angeles with the fires, or if you know someone who's struggling, reach out to them. When people are going through hard times, send them messages. This is a really important thing that we can do. So thank you, Summer, for that prompt. And I'm going to turn it back over to you and John and Pato and Antoinette.
I just want to say thank you, Pato. The whole emergence of the song about angels, I felt LA so much. And I know Sandra, and it just breaks my heart. I can't even imagine, to lose a son and then her home, all like within such a short amount of time. And Pato, I mean, isn't Scott amazing? He's like right there.
I was just going to ask him to get back on the screen,
Because
because I'm not really happy about the way he just passed that over.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
You know what I'm saying, Antoinette?
Totally.
Scott, you are a beautiful soul.
Yes.
Embrace that. Know that. We all appreciate you, bro. You are a beautiful light. You are always lifting everybody up. And even when you're getting lifted up, you're deflecting it to everybody else. So I'm sorry, it's not going to swing this time, bro. You better embrace that. What she said was so touching and so true. And yes, we are all beautiful souls, but that comment was for you, my brother. And I support that comment 100%.
So I have something to say too about Scott, since they're not spotlighting it. Let me just turn over this way or something. So Scott, the same thing, just like she said that something prompted, why you checked up on her, you always checked on me too. Ever since the diagnosis, you have always checked in on me, always supported, always send me and Pato messages. I mean, like all the time. People don't know what all the little things that he does behind the scenes of just kind of like checking in on people. And that's really, really important, to like check in on your friends and check in on your family and just check in on each other. It takes one little thing, 2 seconds to sit there and say, hey, how you doing? Good morning, or whatever, and that love and support and stuff, So, and the song was perfect because we've all been through stuff. Everybody's been through stuff, you know, and fire and loss, everything. And they've all gotten through. Everybody's gotten through. And they get through because of other people who are supporting each other, like emotionally and or financially or being there or something, but we're stronger together. That is the message of Ubuntu, you know, and it's very, very powerful. It's like we're so much stronger together. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of anything. You just have to just be your original, authentic self for somebody else. And that means the world to everybody. It meant a lot to me. So I really appreciate that. And you know, I know a lot of people, but you check in on me, you know, so thank you. You
And
know?
also, how many GoFundMe's? I wonder, Scott, if there's a compassion game of how many GoFundMe's that you've started for people in need of support and help, and the abundance that flows in when you activate these GoFundMe's. I mean, I bet you over all these years since COVID started, let's count. Oh my goodness, you have generated so much support for so many people, and I just freaking love you. I think you are extraordinary. And Dr. Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali, I know they are like, you are fighting the good fight, you know, like you. And coming from Pato, I just have to say, I mean, if there's a competition here of the, no, I think you two are tying. Okay.
No, I think he's ahead of me. He's still
No,
got,
no.
he's still got all of
haven't
his
built,
hair.
I haven't built bathrooms in Africa, bro. I mean,
All right.
that's-
Well, you know what? No one loses the compassion game. So
All
it's
right, we
good,
love
but
you
like,
guys.
yeah.
But also,
And I know you don't like all this attention, but you know
it's
we love
true.
you.
And I need to
We love
deflect
you.
it quickly. So
Yeah.
here's
All
how I
right.
want to deflect it.
All right.
I want to give people a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
The way I start my day, well, it starts really early in the morning with Jasmine Bear, my dog, nibbling on my finger and letting me know that it's a new day. But I prop myself up in bed and I stay in bed for about an hour, and I kind of go in and out of the dream time. But I think about the people that I know. Some of them are friends, some of them are clients that are going through a moment, that are going through a tough time. And it's part of my ritual. And that's how I think to say, oh, yeah, you know, send a text to this person, send a little message to that person. And it's my morning ritual, to be honest. And it's a wonderful way to start my day. So it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. That's what works for me. But that's how I remember, and how it's just like something I've made time for that's become part of my process. So, you know, that's, you know, if that's inspiring to people, think
Yes.
that. Pick a time during the day to think of others that you know that are struggling, and send them prayers, send them maximum grace, or send them a text message. So, and now I really am going to exit stage left.
All right.
Okay. And I just want to say that's a compassion game, you know, like it's not just about, and it is about supporting Sandra too. And let's support her.
Mhm.
Let's send that. And it is about what we do with our time. And that to me, like thoughtfulness, just sending out thoughtfulness during these 40 days of peace and greatness. Starts January 20th. You're welcome to start playing right now tonight while you're watching The Awakening World. That's okay.
You know,
For
the
40
wonderful way you can play is go to GoFundMe right now. I put it in the chat box.
yeah.
And for anybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, it's really easy. Just open up GoFundMe. And if you write "Help Sandra," boom, it comes right up. And you can find it. And I'm actually really pleased. When we started, she had just started, and we've actually raised her goal. Her goal was 35,000. It's at 35,985, but let's still please continue to donate to her.
I just want to give you guys, it's an important announcement around these GoFundMe's and the fires. You know, if you guys are watching the news, they are monitoring. And so the FEMA assistance and the GoFundMe's or whatever, because there's so many people, now they're telling people, if you have a GoFundMe, then you can't apply for the FEMA assistance or this or that. It's like I said, there's a lot of politics and it's very, very crazy. So you know, like what's stated in there, you know, is also, you have to be very cautious because people need things. But if you're stating certain things in there and because everybody's applying all at the same time, it's very, very cautious, you know. So that's why I'm kind of telling some folks to like apply for all the assistance that the government is giving locally and nationally, you know, because they're giving housing assistance, they're rebuilding homes, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I know like they're really, you know, after the whole NFL, it's like they're really, really focused on California. They need California to succeed. And because of that, it's like, watch what they're doing and then set up the GoFundMe's for all the other stuff that needs to be take care of the needs that they're not covering, because they're getting kind of wacky and weird about that. And when I saw that, I'm like, wow, because there's a lot of GoFundMe's out there. And because of that, that's what made them all of a sudden change the rules, you know, and maybe it's because of what happened in Florida or something, but it's going to be a little bit weird and tricky this time. But everybody should be applying for all assistance from the government, from the national, from the local, and take advantage from everybody that is trying to out there to support, because like the City of Angels, like the support is massive. It is so massive, the amount of people that are coming out there. It's just like 9/11. It's like we came together as a community in New York, you know, so Los Angelinos are coming together. People from outside are coming together. Everybody is coming together. Nobody should have to be without anything or any need. You know, everybody's going to be taken care of in the spirit of Ubuntu. I'm going to promise that.
It also reminds me of the moment of Standing Rock as well. Just seeing people coming like from all over the world to support Standing Rock. It has that kind of feeling. I don't know if you're feeling that as well, but the amount of fire trucks coming in from Mexico, from Canada. I mean, it's like, oh,
volunteers are flying
goodness. Yeah. It's
There's
profound.
people coming in from all over and stuff. So
Beloved community.
building beloved community, which is our next segment.
It's happening.
It's happening. So we want to thank you, John and Summer, for giving us this opportunity ever since we started working with you guys for MLK Day and helping, you know, our organization Stand Up for Justice like really move forward and get recognized as a reputable organization for the work that we're doing. And you know, without your help, that we haven't been able to do this MLK for so many years right now. So I'm just gonna flip this over real quick and just show you guys about this Monday, you know, for MLK Day. So this Monday, for anybody who's in Southern California, and I know, Scott, you know a lot of people down here in SoCal, in the San Diego area, and anybody else who's watching, this is our event for Martin Luther King Day at the World Beat Center. I think that's how it goes. Oh yeah, for MLK Day for World Beat Center in San Diego. So I'm going to go on the news tomorrow morning to talk about it. But our annual drive that we normally do for the refugee food and clothing drive and all the other things like the fire, if in our newsletter, you'll see like the requested items for, people don't think about that firefighters, you know, the firefighters themselves need help, you know, so they also need things like masks, they need things like, you know, like the energy bars, they need, you know, there's a whole list of things that they need. And some people didn't even realize, but almost 1,000 of these firefighters are also prisoners that aren't getting paid. You know, they wanted to come and do this, you know, because they're learning how to fight fires and doing whatever, but they're all volunteering and they're not receiving any monetary funds or anything, but they could also just use like just decent things, you know, while they're out there fighting the fires. So this is for MLK Day this Monday from 12, I'm going to change that, from 12 to 6, right, Pata?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be from 12 to 6 p.m. We have a lot of performers. We have different speakers. We have wellness. We're going to talk about sustainability. We're going to talk about, you know, what sustainability looks like in the future and about our health and all the things about building beloved community. Because I think like these events that bring people together, and people have told me this before, like MLK Day and Juneteenth, they were so thankful because they said all the events cost so much money to get into. Not everybody's got money to go to these events, but in order to get the education, in order to get the entertainment, especially when they're banning Dr. King, you know, this is the only thing that we can do in order to get the message and get the word out there. And that's like through hosting different events all the time. Right, Pata?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then. So moving on, do we want to share them? So this is a video that we haven't shared a lot. I don't think we've done it on any of the other Zooms before,
No.
but I want to share this one with you guys because I want you guys to sit there and get a sense of what we're talking about regarding beloved community. And after we share this video, you know, I'd like to get your thoughts about what you guys think as well too, about what he said and about how we're moving into the future and what we can do together as a community. So not that I'm like testing y'all, but I'm testing y'all. So we're gonna listen and, you know,
And then give some feedback.
and give us some feedback and everything. So this is a group participation thing because you can't build community by ourselves. We got to do this as a community together. All right, here we go.
A productive and happy life is not something that you find, it is something that you make. And so the ability of blacks and whites to work together, to understand each other, will not be found ready-made. It must be created by the fact of personal human contact. For years, the black man has been taught that he is nobody, that his color is a sign of his biological depravity, that his being has been stamped with an indelible imprint of inferiority, that his whole history has been soiled with the filth of worthlessness. All too few people realize how slavery and racial segregation have scarred the soul and wounded the spirit of the black man. The whole dirty business of slavery was based on the premise that the Negro was a thing to be used, not a person to be respected. In the future, we must become intensive political activists. We must be guided in this direction because we need political strength more desperately than any other group in American society. Most of us are too poor to have adequate economic power, and many of us are too rejected by the culture to be a part of any tradition of power. Necessity will draw us toward the power inherent in the creative uses of politics. While the existence of a militant morale is immensely important, a fighting spirit that is insufficiently organized can become useless and even hazardous. To attempt radical reform without adequate organization is like trying to sail a boat without a rudder. Prominent among the significant weaknesses of our organizations is their disunity and petty competition. When false rumors are circulated so that some leaders can gain an individual advantage, the whole movement suffers. Our hope for creative living in this world house that we have inherited lies in our ability to re-establish the moral ends of our lives in personal character and social justice. Without this spiritual and moral reawakening, we shall destroy ourselves in the misuse of our own instruments. Among the moral imperatives of our time, we are challenged to work all over the world with unshakable determination to wipe out the last vestiges of racism. The majority of white Americans consider themselves sincerely committed to fair play and to steady growth towards a middle-class utopia embodying racial harmony. But unfortunately, this is a fantasy, of self-deception and comfortable vanity. Overwhelmingly, America is still struggling with irresolution and contradictions. It has been sincere and even ardent in welcoming some change, but too quickly, apathy and disinterest rise to the surface when the next logical steps are to be taken. Many men cry, peace, peace, but they refuse to do the things that make for peace. The large power blocks talk passionately of pursuing peace, while expanding defense budgets that already bulge, enlarging already awesome armies, and devising ever more devastating weapons that threaten the survival of mankind and which are both genocidal and suicidal in character. I suggest that the philosophy and strategy of nonviolence become immediately a subject for study and for serious experimentation in every field of human conflict, by no means excluding the relations between nations. The United Nations is a gesture in the direction of nonviolence on a world scale. But true nonviolence is more than the absence of violence. It is the persistent and determined application of peaceable power to offenses against the community, in this case, the world community. The end is reconciliation. The end is redemption. The end is the creation of the beloved community. It is this type of spirit and this type of love that can transform opponents into friends. It is this type of understanding goodwill that will transform the deep gloom of the old age into the exuberant gladness of the new age. It is this love that will bring about miracles in the hearts of men and women. Our ultimate goal is to create a beloved community. And this will require a quantitative change in our lives as well as a qualitative change in our souls. We need to make a supreme effort to generate the readiness, indeed the eagerness, to enter into the new world which is now possible, the city which hath foundation, whose builder and maker is God. Is God. Is God. Is
All right now. So,
Let's just, I want to take a moment before you speak,
mm,
because that was amazing. I'm going to go to gallery view. And I just want us to all send appreciation to Pato and Antoinette for creating that and hold the vision for that. That is our future. That is our compass. That is our direction.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
thank you. And you're right, because actually, like I said, I wrote the piece as a piece by itself, and then Pato did the narration of the words over it. So the piece is also a standalone piece as a meditation piece. So kind of like what we do with the words of Christ, like he'll do a narration, and then we also have like an instrumental piece, just so that way you can kind of think and reflect about the words, you know. So what I'd like to do now, if you do go to gallery view, you know, and see if anybody else has any comments or reflections regarding this piece, regarding what Beloved Community looks like, your ideas, suggestions of like what we can do to come together. I know that like last year when we did the convergence, or the year before, when you guys all came out to Edentia, some of you guys came out to Edentia land. That's part of my idea of what building beloved community looks like. So
Yeah, so if you want to comment, raise your hand or raise the little technical hand. Yeah, there we go.
all right, there we go.
And while we're waiting, we'll go to Sylvia in a moment. I do want to read, Carol wrote, I went to Kenya 4 years in a row working in a remote village, and it taught me Ubuntu, and that minimalism was a better option for living. It allowed me to change my focus of what I previously considered important. This opened the door for me to find the love of my life. I married into a whole family of Black relatives when I found my person, a beautiful Black man from Trinidad. I'm just a white kid from the white suburbs of North Shore, Chicago, and I spend a good portion of my time at my house there. I love being part of a culture that accepts me for me. So thank you, Carol, for sharing that. Love to hear from some of you, and I'm going to put the spotlight on you, Sylvia.
Yeah. And then thank you too, Carol, because that we're going to get into the Ubuntu segment, but you're absolutely right. I mean, when I came back and I realized, I was like, I just got way too much stuff, you know, and I started packing up because I was like, I want to go with a more minimalistic lifestyle. And then I started packing my cases, you know, for what I could bring to Africa. But then when I was packing all this stuff, I'm like, wait a minute, I can't bring all that stuff over there because I'm only allowed 2 suitcases when I go. But now that this fire has happened, I was like, wait a minute, I've got a lot of nice work clothes and other things like that that people can actually use, you know, locally around here, you know. So I want to scale it down, you know, to where like, can I fit all my stuff in a tiny home or in an RV, or, you know, like just kind of just go with the basics of what we need. And then, you know, it's really nice, you know, it's like not having to worry about all this stuff all the time. But since I have lost things in fires and floods, artwork and music instruments, I mean, sorry, those do go with me. I try to save those as best as I can. All right, Sylvia.
Hi, everyone. As I put in the chat, participating in beloved community has been an important part of my faith journey since I was in my early 20s. And one of those experiences was through the Baptist Peace Fellowship of North America. One story about that was sitting in one of their board meetings, listening to them talk seriously about having the year 2000 declared as a year of peace on the floor of the United Nations. And I was stunned that I could sit in a circle of people who had the resources for that to be a real conversation. And through them, I sat at the feet of people who had sat at the feet of Dr. Martin Luther King. And part of that was experience with African American sisters at divinity school who had the love and the courage to reflect my own white privilege to me in ways that I was painfully able to hear and receive. And I learned that one of the things about beloved community is not to be simply nice with each other, that we have to build the trust to be truthful.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Agreed.
Thank you. And you're absolutely right. And I think the thing that stuck out with those words was about the reconciliation and redemption. You know, so when Summer and I did the Bridging the Divide series, and I remember we did it for like a year because I was like, we got to sit down and hash this out between Black women and white women. We really need to just be able to be honest with each other. without everybody getting all butt hurt and all and everything else like that. It's like, can we just have an honest conversation so that way we can move forward? And she said you could tell me anything, and that's what I really love, because that was really good. And now you see what they're doing. They're getting away with DEI. They're calling it wokeism. They're taking away our history, like, excuse me, this isn't just Black history. This is American history. This is everybody's history. How are you going to sit there and act like this ain't everybody's history when it's everybody's history? Let's just talk about it and let's get together and let's move on.
I actually frame it as our story, as
Yes.
more than his story, her story. It's our story.
It's our story. It is what it is, and I learned that while I was in South Africa, because somebody said, they're like, white people are suffering from PTSD too. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, because they had to be in it and participate in all of that apartheid and everything. It's like, it's just weighing in on them. I'm like, something, I didn't even think about that. What type of internal drama is going on with them? They need to talk about it, and they need to share their stories as well too. We can't just hear one side and then the other side is just like feeling all guilty. It's like, this is not about laying a sign and blaming guilt or whatever. What he was talking about was like redemption and reconciliation of creating this new age. And that's what I think that we can do today and together with each other. Yes, Carol, it's a shame. It is. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts or comments on this?
I want to point out real quickly, I'm going to put you up again for a second, Sylvia. Sylvia has behind her 10 suggestions from Martin Luther King. And I think we first were given these by Reverend Bridge Feltis one of the times she was on the show. No, it was Marty. Was it Marty? Or it was you? Okay. Well, thank you, and if you could put that into the chat box, and then I'll bring it up to show everybody, because
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you,
it's
Sylvia.
a beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing up Reverend Bridge Feltis. You have not had her on in a while, but I'm not sure, but she was.
She's been going through family challenges.
Right. I started following her ever since you had her on the show. And if you're not following her, she's really, 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 really amazing. And she is in the LA area too, so that is one powerhouse of a woman. Yes, Karen. Yes, welcome. Let's get you on here. Greetings, Karen.
You're up, Karen.
Okay, I was trying to get my thing unmuted. Okay, yeah. I literally grew up with the civil rights movement. I was just a few weeks old when the Montgomery bus boycott started. So that was the backdrop of my childhood. And I saw what all the happened during that period. But now what I'm seeing is that there seems to be a reversal, a trend towards a reversal of the gains that were made during that time. And I know it's got to be a change of heart in the hearts of people to really make this a everlasting change for the better. I've been fortunate enough to have met Mrs. King, talked to her a number of times some years ago, and I've met many of the people who were out there during working with King during those times. And it's just a sense that our community is losing so much. And it's just going backwards, especially with the new administration that's about to come in and the people surrounding him. There's a trend towards trying to undo everything that was done during that time. And so, it was amazing what they were able to do coming from a place of peace and nonviolence. And now there's this whole trend in this country towards using violence to get what you want. That is totally against what King and the people he was working with were doing. So I'm going to be singing over at Ebenezer, his church, on Monday morning. So it's part of the commemorative service. And, and I do that because I really admire what was done during that time. I want to honor him and all of the other people that work with him.
I thank you for that so much, Karen. You know, my
Thank you,
family
Karen.
Yeah.
is from Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama. It's like people don't understand. It's like, so when they talk about it was roots that kind of really got me into all of this before, because my family, they started their family reunion at the end of slavery, after the end of slavery, when they had to go and gather everybody back up together. And it was my great grandmother, who was still alive when I was a baby. I mean, she was born into slavery, but she was the one who gathered everybody together and said, we have to stay connected no matter what, because the family had gotten displaced and spread apart for so long. So they gathered all the family, and then they went into sharecropping as a family. And then the sharecropping didn't work. So they went into the barbershop business. Anybody who's ever seen barbershop or understands what that is, it was like the first time that Black people were able to kind of get into their own entrepreneurship. And from when they started the barbershop business, my grand uncle had the longest running barbershop in Birmingham, Alabama for 76 years. And he worked up until the day he died. He was like 80 something years old. He was 87. He never took a day off of work. Never took a day off of work. But he told me when I interviewed him before he passed, he said he went up north with his brothers, but he didn't like the city, because back in the 20s and them, a lot of them, after the sharecropping and after the barbershop, they all went and started migrating up north to like Chicago and to Cincinnati and Detroit and all these other areas, and started getting into different businesses from there and into the wars. But they kept the family together. They were like, we're going to help you buy a house. All the family would chip in to buy a house for everybody. All the family would chip in to help somebody get their business started. All of the family chipped in to help somebody go to school. Now we're at the generation where, like, not my generation, but my daughter's generation, we're finally at the generation where all of our kids are all getting degrees. And not just a bachelor's degree, a doctorate degree, a PhD, master's degrees, all these different things, because the family came together and stayed together. But what they witnessed and how they, during that time in Alabama, it's like, if you guys don't know, if you ever get a chance to go down to Alabama and Montgomery, where Martin Luther King was down there and stuff, and if you saw the Civil Rights Museum about where the 4 girls were murdered when they were bombing, they called it Birmingham. They were literally bombing churches where people were going to pray. And the reason why the largest civil rights museum over in Cincinnati, this place was built on a place that the Ku Klux Klan had, and they were trying to turn it into something else. But we managed to turn it into a civil rights museum. So it's weird that we're going with this constant back and forth push towards equity and equality when they're trying so hard to sit there and stamp us out and not give us just a little bit of a voice. So this is why we need everybody like to help us raise our voices, to help us lift up our voices. And the whole thing is, like, Martin Luther King wasn't just a hero just to Black people. He was a hero to everybody. All the other marginalized groups, from the Native Americans, Indigenous, and everybody, all came together and started to sit there and say, something, when he speaks, he's speaking for all of us, not just for Black people, but for Latin people, for Native Indigenous, for Asian people. It didn't even matter who it was. He was going to speak up for every single person on this planet. And that's why we have to keep raising him up and not letting them, turn him into something else or take away from the original message that he was actually speaking.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, I used to work with someone since I've been here in Atlanta, who actually was a good friend of one of the young ladies that got killed during in that bombing. Mm-hmm. And I've seen the church. I haven't been in that, but I've actually walked across that bridge in Selma a couple of times, and so I've been pretty involved, as far as I've been able to over the years. But it was, interesting just watching all of this play out, seeing that was like the news of the day back when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in Louisiana, and I was one of the first students that integrated one of the schools there. And we were in that first year, when King was killed. And so, I've got a lot of stories, but when I watched the movie Green Book, there were so many of the things that happened in that movie that I had been in similar situations in my lifetime. And so, people just think that's some history, but it's not the ancient history.
It's true.
This is, and I don't want to have to go back to living like we used to have to live and how we used to have to travel and couldn't stop where we needed, just to go to the bathroom or spend the night somewhere. I don't want to go back to that. And I just see this and trying to undo all of that.
Yep, I should make a modern day Green Book because we traveled a lot and we actually know the particular stops not to go to even today, like throughout the South. I don't want to call it the RR run, but the run that we would go through the South. But we had a little bit of issues here and there, and we're like, okay, this is, even in today's day, like it's not safe for everybody in certain areas, and they let you know about these little sundown towns and everything. They do exist.
Well, our family got stopped one time in the middle of the night in Mississippi.
Ew.
And, it's a miracle that we're alive to tell about this now. And like I said, it's for me, it's not history. This is my life growing up.
I want to really acknowledge you, Karen. Thank you for, you've been with us from the very beginning. Karen was on the very first Saturday Night Alive show, and she's been with us ever since. And it's really wonderful to have you because she's usually just in the background chatting there. So, Karen, it's so lovely to have you come forward, and I just want to honor you and your life's journey. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pull up these 10 suggestions that Sylvia provided. And I'm wondering if Pato or Antoinette, if one of you would like to read them. You both have such beautiful voices. And or Karen has a beautiful voice too, plus Karen sings. But I'd love for...
let Karen read them.
Yes.
Karen, would you be willing to read these 10 suggestions?
Okay. This was from Soul Force Journey to Washington, D.C., National Conference of Catholic Bishops, November 12th through 14th, 2000. Number 1, meditate daily on the life and teachings of Jesus.
Amen.
Number 2, remember that the nonviolent movement seeks justice and reconciliation, not victory. 3, walk and talk in the manner of love, for God is love. 4, pray daily to be used by God in order that all men and women might be free. 5, sacrifice personal wishes that all might be free. 6, observe with friend and foe the ordinary rules of courtesy. 7, perform regular service for others and for the world. 8, refrain from violence of fist, tongue, and heart. 9, strive to be in good spiritual and bodily health. And 10, follow the directions of the movement leaders and of the captains on demonstrations. And these were vows signed by the marchers with Dr. King in 1963. And I just want to share one more thing about that. In 1963, when they had the march, my family had gone to Boston for a conference that my father had. And we came through DC the day before the march. Now, I was like about 8 years old at the time. But I was aware enough and was feeling this enough that, I really felt like I needed to be there. But I was begging my parents to stop and go to this march. And they just refused. They were like, no, we're going to get out of town. We came through there the day before, trying to get back to Louisiana before the march started. So I'm sitting at home the next day looking at it on TV when I was like, I really, really, really had wanted to be there. So I was fortunate enough on the 40th anniversary to go back. And be there for that. And it just really sort of gave me a sense of closure about that whole thing, because I was just like, I probably was more upset with my parents about that one thing than just about anything that happened in my childhood. But yeah, it was, I really, really had wanted to be at that.
Thank you so much for sharing, Karen. And
Mhm.
just know, so this next segment that we're going into, because we've, building beloved community, it's like there's maybe a new word for it. And that new word is Ubuntu. So that's the same thing as like, what does building beloved community look like and stuff. So I'm excited about the future. I'm not worried about what these knuckleheads gonna try to do to us, because you know what I'm saying? They can try. They can try, they can try, they can try, they can try. But you know something? No matter what they've done, and they went through, you know what it was like back then. At least I'm not getting hosed down. They're trying to hose me down with their words, and they're trying to hose me down with their policy, and they're trying to hose us down with censorship. But you cannot stop good over evil, and you cannot stop truth. So we're moving with the spirit of Ubuntu forward. I'm telling you, and this is what I liked about, like, I don't know who said this to me. They're like, you cannot be free until I'm free. I am because we are. We are because I am. And it's like, I can't not exist without you, and you cannot exist without me. And that also means it's like, ain't nobody free until we're all free. So everybody need to get on this bandwagon and get on this Ubuntu train, because your freedom exists within my freedom. And we see this is the truth, because it's like all the violence and everything else that's happening around is because of the animosity for each other. And Dr. King said that we've got to live together or we're going to perish as fools. So if anybody's got any animosity, even against the people that are trying to oppress us, we've got to live with these people. We've got to find a way to sit there and get along, or else we're just all going to be taking each other out. So, this is what we're trying to do now. So
I'd love to riff on that for a quick moment. My mentor was Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, who named nonviolent communication in the spirit of Martin Luther King. He formed it shortly after Martin Luther King's assassination. And of course, most of us on this call will say, well, I'm not violent. And there's a way that Marshall pointed out that many of us still have violence. And he said that's any time we assign what he would call an enemy image to another. Anytime we go, what an idiot, what an asshole, what a jerk, that's violence. It's an act of violence. And we do that for ourselves. We might even say, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. So removing any label, saying he's an addict, he's this, she's that. If we can look at what labels do we still use, and to remove those labels is a wonderful act of nonviolence that most of us still could practice. So I wanted to.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott, for saying that. And you're absolutely right. But like I said, I may be calling them names still, but I just know we got to live together. We've got to live with everybody, no matter how much they're going to go after us.
And I wasn't calling you out, because I actually chuckled when you called them knuckleheads. I thought knuckleheads is that's pretty tame compared to what we could say. So
exactly. But I see the hate against, Trump supporters and worrying about the future and whatever. And I'm going to tell you something. I met a lot of Trump supporters, and they bark louder than they bite. So and that's the same thing. It's like I've lived in communities where they're not used to seeing Black people. They don't know anything about Black culture, whatever. But if you could really sit down with people and get to know people, we actually all want the same things. It's just they just don't know. So we need a little bit more of the diversity and inclusion and equity, so that way they can know. Because it's like, once you get to know about us, you will learn to love us. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about the future. It's maybe a little bit rocky. It may be a little bit tough, but we will get there eventually. And we're going to get there with the spirit of Ubuntu. So
speaking of which, you've got a watch party on Sunday.
Yes.
Do you want to tell people about it?
Yes. So here we go. On the Gather site, I'm going to put this right into the chat. You can start talking, Pato. Tell them about it while I put this in there.
Well, the watch party is going to be on Sunday, the 19th of January at 10 a.m. PST. You want to enlargen your, go to the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's going to be on the Gather website where people can, it's going to be an international watch party with people from around the world joining us.
Look at that.
You can get your tickets on this site. Antoinette can put a link into the chat.
You see all these awards here?
We now have 25 awards for the documentary.
Internationally.
International awards from the film festival. Antoinette also got Best Music Score Award for at one of the festivals. There's a trailer there. There's a link for contacting us. And yeah, people can get their tickets right on this Gather website right now. And there will be a question and answer session after the screening for anyone that wants to discuss the movie, ask any questions, or share any reflections about the movie. They'll be able to do so after the screening, live and direct.
What's so powerful about this, what I love about, we're using this platform for the first time, but from what we understand, this is how we're able to do like more online screenings. But for the premiere, before the worldwide launch, is going to be happening on Martin Luther King Day. You know, so the same day as the inauguration, it's also going to be the same day that we're introducing Ubuntu to the world. People will be able to watch it all over the place. But this premiere party that's happening on the 19th, we're all going to be in the same Zoom room, and we're all going to be able to watch this documentary and then Q&A with some of the people from the film, and also to, you know, to get a bigger understanding of like how we're going to apply Ubuntu into our lives. And then also, if people want to like host their own screenings of the films and do Q&As or raise funds or do whatever, just talk to me, because we can kind of help you set it up, also as well as in-person screenings. What I'm planning to do, like for February, Scott, when I see you at the Conscious Life, you and I need to make sure I get my ticket really quick, is that I'm going to organize a hike that week, a hike back on Edentia again. Yes, you know, so I want people to like, you know, as part of the service, you know, like this is what we're doing as far as building community, what it looks like for sustainability, what it looks like, you know, Ubuntu and everything else. Should we show them this clip, this trailer, Pato?
We're running short on time, so you might want to share the stuff stacks.
All right. So, oh yeah. All right. So that was the link for the International Watch Party. Here, all right.
And hang on, before we go to that, I just really want to encourage everybody. I'm going to be there on Sunday morning, and I would love for that to be our Sunday morning service. You know, we used to do a Sacred Sunday show, and we still do one once a month. Let's make our Sacred Sunday this Sunday, 10 o'clock Pacific time. Let's all gather together. It's really important for us to support this amazing movie. First of all, it's a great film. I haven't seen the entire film, but everything I've seen from it, we've shown here, is beautiful. So let's all gather together this Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Pacific time, with Pato and Antoinette, and participate in their watch party. I really hope all of my Global Peace Tribe friends will be there.
You know, and also, now that we mentioned, because we're speaking about nonviolence, this is what's really, 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 really powerful. That inside of the documentary, there's a couple of the organizations. If there's anybody who's seen violence, it's the people of Rwanda. So if you guys know what's been going on, what has happened in Rwanda, I keep telling people, it's like, I've seen peace. I've seen what it looks like, where people, you know, 1 minute we're chopping each other up, and the next minute it's like they're working together. They're building together the things that they've accomplished together. Hutus and Tutsis, you know, together. Now it's like, and when they build something together, you can never break that apart ever. You know, so we can learn so much from these people in Africa and what they're doing. You know, it changes the world, the face of this planet, you know, so much goodness. All right, so here is my Substack. If you're not subscribing to this Substack, it's a free subscription. But those who can afford it, if you pay a monthly subscription, all the money goes into our Ubuntu Empowerment Fund. But this is a free subscription because I don't want anybody to sit there and miss out on what we're sharing to the world. You know, there's so much going on. It's not just what we did in the documentary. As you know, Emily was going to be on here with us. But you see this here? These kids are from Nakivale refugee settlement in Uganda. So after we, in February, At the end of January, actually, a week later after we finish the MLK Day, Pato and I are going back to Uganda. We're going to be in Nakaveli, we're going to be in Kabale, we're going to be in Kampala, and then we're going to visit a couple more places and we're going to meet with some folks. So we're creating this Ubuntu hub in Nakavali, just like we're creating these Ubuntu hubs all over Africa. And if you go into this Substack, you'll sit there and see, like, here's one. This has got our permacultural tour. I noticed that somebody said something about permaculture and whatever. Look at this guy. This dude right here, I met him on Facebook, and he has now, this guy can sit there and take dry land. We're talking about where there's no water for like years and turn it into a lush forest. You know, the kind of work that he does is absolutely amazing. He's gone all over Africa. He's gone all over like South America. He's gone all over the world. Let me turn back one more page. And then you can see the permacultural tour. You can see the Seeds of Change, Cultivating Change in Kenya. You know, so look, this is Ann Okello. She's got a documentary of her own. She was sitting there talking about, she's like, I need to be educated when they tried to marry her off and try to do all these different things to her. But it's like, she's empowering women. These are widows, you know, that we're supporting out there. It's like, and it was so funny when I asked them if they would get married again. They're like, no, we're good, you know, but basically it's like what the widows are doing when they come together, what we're doing with the schools, how we're introducing permaculture all over, and the things that they've done, you know, and how we can, you know, spread it around the world is absolutely amazing. So back to this page, like I said, you'll see like these Ubuntu hubs that we're creating all over Africa, and everything that we're doing. There's so many Ubuntu stories, Ubuntu to the world, you know, so sign up to this newsletter. It's a free subscription. If you can afford it, then, you know, all your proceeds will sit there. It's not like you're helping one person or just one organization. You're helping several. We started with 10 organizations when we shot the documentary. Now we added 10 more, and now we've added another 10 more. So somewhere around like 30 individuals and organizations. But we're also trying to get everybody to come together to like create what the sustainability looks like when we support each other instead of my thing. My thing is like our thing, our thing. This is what we can do together as a collective.
Beautiful.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you so much, you two. And I will, well, of course, I'll be with you on Sunday morning. And we've got a lot of events going on over these next really 40 days. So I love you both so much. Thank you for taking time in your amazingly busy schedules to be with our Global Peace Tribe. And we're going to conclude with an Omashar song in a moment. But let's just all twinkle, Pato and Antoinette. I'm going to go to gallery view. Let's send them much, much love and appreciation.
And our own Omashar is working on an Ubuntu to the World song with me and Kristen. So it's like,
oh, far out.
Oh, yes.
Well, of course, we're going to close with an Omashar song in just a moment. I want to read a couple things Grace Denise wrote, and you'll love this, Pato and Antoinette. Related to Ubuntu, I think that what Jesus meant by turn the other cheek, not meaning about being weak or masochistic, but about breaking the cycle of violence. Also, Thich Nhat Hanh wrote powerfully about putting ourselves in their shoes from their point of view with compassion, without judging. And Jesus said, whoever is without sin, throw the first stone. And they realized that none of them were. So thank you, Grace, for those beautiful reminders. And want to let people know, I always let people know about what our upcoming show is. This is definitely an Evolutionary Leaders Week. We had, of course, Pato and Antoinette are two of the members of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And we've got a really beautiful show this Saturday night called Nonviolence, The Time Is Now, carrying on this theme of nonviolence. And we're going to hear from Dr. Marty Casey, Hallelujah, Anasuya, Reverend Ivy Hilton, Peter Young, and Kristen is going to play that video from when you all were together in Japan, the peace video that you created. And of course, Omashar, the newest member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, is our own beloved Omashar, who I'm now going to turn things over to for our closing song. If I can find him. There he is.
Love is all there is. So put your hand in mine. Keep open your heart. We are love divine. Love is a Love is all there is. Love makes you feel good. Love is perfect. Love is all there is. Anything less is nothing. Love's for everyone. Love is in everyone. Love is you. You are love. Love is. Truth is in everyone. Love is truth. Truth is love. Love is. Love is. Love is. Love is all. Love is not a dream. Love's all there is. Love's what we live for. And this love lives in you. Touching you, guiding you. Love is in everyone. Love is you. You are love. Love is. Truth is in everyone. Love is truth. Truth is love. Love is. Love is. Love is. Love is all. Love is all. Ba-da-da-da. Love is all. Love is all there is. So put your hand in mine. Keep open your heart. We are love divine.
Mm. One more time, going to gallery view, sending so much love
Yeah, so much
to
love.
Antoinette, and of course, beloved Omar Shar, who is the voice of love here on the Awakening World.
Luckily, we're all the voice of love. And Pato and Antoinette, what an absolute honor. And what you stand for in this world is helps me stand stronger. I feel like I have a stronger spine because you exist. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Omar Shah, and I'm really excited to. I'm gonna finally have some time for us to work on our song because it's Ubuntu to the world. Ubuntu to the world. Ubuntu to the
So,
world.
Scott,
Yes,
do we have time for anything?
absolutely. You always have time.
Because we could either I've got a choice. We could either play the trailer or the Ubuntu song to close the show.
Ooh, the Ubuntu song.
Ubuntu song.
All right,
All right.
I'm gonna go with Omar
And
Sharon.
then, since it's got clips from the documentary,
Yes.
you guys will get to see 10 countries in Africa in this beautiful song, and you get to dance too.
All right, here we go. I want to say thank you, Omar Shah. That song was beautiful.
Was.
We always love to listen to your music,
And
brother.
thank you, Scott, for always giving me a platform.
Beautiful.
From the time I told him, I said, get more black people on here. He took my advice. I
She
said,
always has to
be-
mention that.
No, but we gotta big him up, man. We gotta big him up. I said, you need more black people on your show. It don't have to be me, but you need at least somebody once a month. And he kept his word.
Hey, look at who we got coming up on Saturday night. We've got
My
Ivy
sister.
and Birdie and all of
Yo.
them.
Yo, you see what I'm saying? It's Wakanda
Yes.
forever. You see, it's coming up in there. Anasuya, Marty, and the beautiful Ivy. Yes, those sisters are amazing. That's good. I'm glad.
All right. So here we go. Thank you, Antoinette, for another wonderful show together. I've had a good time today. Thank you.
In Africa, there is something known as Ubuntu. I am because we are. We come together today to renew the ties that make us one. Beyond tribe, beyond community, beyond nation, even beyond the continent.
Naam, ni wakati wa moyo wa Ubuntu kugusa watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amina.
When you realize your family is all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity in your community, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. So tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When we tell them, hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. It's just a way of life, you know. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. Ubuntu to the world. You see, this life is like a school. We gotta learn to live the golden rule, treating our brothers and our sisters how we want to be treated too. Ooh, when I say namaste, the God in me sees the God in you. Jesus said we are all your children and told us to go and spread the good news right now. Ubuntu is incredible, exceptional and ethical, mystical and spiritual, theoretical and practical. In times like this so critical, we need a higher principle to make compassion mutual, make respect reciprocal. When peace becomes intentional and war is unacceptable, our blessings will be plentiful, life will be so wonderful. All for one and one for all people. Can you hear the call? It's time to tell the world about Ubuntu. When you realize your family is all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity, hey, in your community, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. So tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. We sing again. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Go on.
Naam, ni wakati wa moyo wa Ubuntu kuwaguza watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu sote tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I just saw your comment, Carol, about mainstream media. So I think that's another good thing, that when the documentary gets released on Binge TV network, we're actually getting our own channel. It's like, what? Yes, we're getting our own. I was like, what does this mean exactly? So we're going to be bringing like several more Ubuntu stories from around the world. You know, Ubuntu in Asia, Ubuntu in Europe, Ubuntu here. It's like, what happens when people just start embracing the idea and start coming together? So this is going to be interesting to see what that looks like as far as our Ubuntu network. So stay tuned.
Right. Love you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday night for the show, and on Sunday morning, a sacred Sunday with the Spirit of Ubuntu watch party.